going on? Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today, the video that you love to hate here on the channel because, I don't know, it always gets the most comments, the most controversy. Ash, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Ash, you're a genius. Okay, no one says that. But people love to disagree on tier lists, on the opinions and the rankings and the overall kind of power index of all of these cards. That's why I like making them, man, because I like making you guys mad. So today we're going to go ahead and rank every card in the game. First off, how you guys doing? Welcome to the video. Happy to have you here. Happy Monday if you're watching the day of the upload on the channel. A lot of cards to get to, so we're going to try something new today. And I really want your feedback on this. I want you guys to tell me, what do you think about the speed ranking video? Because we're not going to talk. Usually I talk a lot about each one of these cards as we do it, and it ends up being an hour-long video, right? Which I like doing, and maybe you guys do too. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post a community tab poll. I want your feedback on this. Today we're going to try lightning round. Not going to talk a lot about the cards, just going to talk a little bit. Try to keep it to, like, 10 seconds or under on every card.
Note that, please.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Before, speaking of not wasting time, let's waste some time in the beginning here. Who made this tier list to where there's an E tier? An E tier? S, A, B, C, D, E, F? Come on, man. Come on. Delete row, please. Frankly, yeah, this is fine. Let's keep it like this. Let's keep it like this. We don't need an E tier. E? Kids nowadays, man. What do you have? E letter grades now in school? Maybe. Probably. All right, Sparky. I think Sparky's C tier. Everything they add to the game counters Sparky. Everything that's meta right now. Rocket, Lightning, E-Wiz, Electro Spirit. But she's still fun. She still has to be respected, right? Skeletons. A tier, man. Larry, 1 elixir. Why not, right? Minions, B tier. Minions are solid, man. For 3 elixir, sure, you can arrow them down or do whatever. They're easy to counter, but they're way better than Minion Horde, right? They're only 3 elixir, not a huge investment. Furnace, B tier, is one of the strongest spawners in the game in a meta where spawners aren't super strong. Only 1 spawner that's going to be higher ranked than Furnace. The Pump, it's being used now, which is more than you could say before. So I'm going to bring it from F tier to D tier. Okay. Goblin Gang, not very powerful right now. I'm going to go a C tier, but most people are just going either goblins or spirit goblins. There's so many choice, guards especially. I think it was Jax who came on the channel, maybe D tier, because I'm going to use Jax's words here. I'm going to quote Jax. If you're using Goblin Gang right now in any deck, and it's not a level issue, then switch to guards. Do yourself a favor and switch to guards. They're so much better. I mean, you have a little bit of air targeting with the Spirit Goblins, but really, Snowball, I'm going to say B tier. I love Snowball. Tornado, S tier. You guys know how I love the Tornado. Some of you guys are triggered by it. Some of you guys, Ash, you overrate the Tornado, dude. No. Dude, no card in the game is dynamic as the Tornado. Activate King Towers. Move all the troops anywhere you want them to. Switch lanes of an Archer Queen on the defensive side of the arena. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot to do with the Tornado. Cannon card, A tier. Very, very good card. Very good card. Ram Rider, A tier. I think Ram Rider's a very good card too, man. I love the defensive, annoying prowess of the Ram Rider, right? Poison. Ever since they added slow, I think that Poison, while not maybe as prominent in the meta as Lightning and Fireball, I still think it's a very, very good card. Skeleton Dragon, C tier. Man, give me Baby D any day of the week. Am I right? Am I right? Which one of you weirdos like Skeleton Dragon over Baby Dragon? Note to self, you want negative comments, Ash, call your subscribers weirdos. That's the best way to do it. Log, S tier. It's the Log, man. It's a very good card. Lightning, A tier. Goblin Giant, C tier. Bar Barrel, we're going lightning round right now. A tier. And Fisherman, B tier. Fisherman's really cool, though. I wish it was used in more decks than just Royal Giant, right? To pull that mini P.E.K.K.A, that Hunter, that whatever away from the Royal Giant. Because he's just a very cool card. I like it in King Tower, activate King Tower. Maybe making it a little bit easier to activate King Tower off of like tanks with him. It's not that hard, is it? I don't know, whatever. Bomb Tower, I think, is B tier, creeping up on A. Bomb Tower has seen a little bit of a resurgence with all the Royal Hogs going around and all the Swarm in general. Lumberjack, A tier. Lumberjack's so good, man. Lumberjack is in a lot of decks. Balloon Freeze. Lumberjack is in a lot of Golem decks right now. Royal Giant decks. There's a lot of DPS and Rage Spell. What more do you want? Bats A tier, one of my favorite cards in the game. So much damage for 2 elixir, right? Mini P.E.K.K.A B tier, a little bit outshined by the Lumberjack right now in my opinion, but still a very, very good tank killer, very good card overall. Whenever I see a deck with Mini P.E.K.K.A in it, I'm like, yeah, I want to give that deck a try. Giant Skeleton, D tier personally. I know some of you guys like Giant Skelly, but ever since they nerfed his bomb, it's not the same to me. Although I must say, though, talking about both sides of my mouth, I don't like going against a Giant Skeleton either, right? I'm like, oh, great, Giant Skeleton clone is fantastic, you know? Tombstone is S tier, man. This is the spawner better than the Furnace I referred to earlier. I think the Tombstone is just so... I play Tombstone in my main deck Splash Yard, right? And it just gets so much value. Maybe I'm overranking Tombstone, but ever since there's 2 skeletons now, I don't have to worry. I mean, it does a lot of damage against tanks, against anything that breaks it, but I don't have to worry anymore about bandits and princes and stuff like that, you know? Goblins, C tier, they're not trash. They're just not used outside of, you know, really off-meta decks and Hog Exunado, right? The Ice Spirit, I'm a big fan still, man. Some people are saying that he's not as good as you know, now that there's E-Spirit and stuff like that, but I still think it's a tremendous card for 1 elixir. Clone... I guess I have to put it B tier. I hate to do it, but man, Golem clone decks, Lava clone decks, even kind of some off-meta Giant Skeleton clone decks, as much as I hate the card, they're still pretty difficult to deal with, depending on what deck you're playing, you know? So I'll give it B tier. Flying Machine, yikes. I'm going to give it A tier, man. I think the Flying Machine is a very formidable and annoying card. Same thing with Royal Delivery. And again, you guys might disagree. I'm just going by... You know, obviously I scanned all the win rates, all the use rates, and all grand challenges, all classic challenges, all global tournaments, and ladder. So I have some like numerical context, statistical context to my rankings, but I'm also going on gut feel a little bit. And I feel like when I'm playing the delivery, I always get value out of it. When I'm playing against delivery, I'm always like, oh, great, delivery, you know? Guards, S tier, man. Guards are so good right now. Mirror, F tier. Mirror needs to be reworked. I've been saying that for a long time. Golem, B tier. Golem's better than he's been in a while. Certainly not, you know, in my opinion, S or A tier, but still very, very solid, right? Arrows, A tier. Arrows are very good. Zappies, A tier. Zappies are really good and maybe even underrated, but maybe less so because it's starting to appear in more and more decks recently. Mortar, A tier. Maybe even S. Mortar's I think S, man. Mortar is one of those cards that defensively can be a defensive building, can kill all the support troops, can be an offensive weapon, can be a hybrid offensive and defensive when placed kind of in the middle at the top. So much you can do with Mortar. I'm not a good Mortar player myself, but that's no reason to discount the card's ranking, right? Balloon, A tier. Even with the rework, it's still an incredibly good card right now. Balloon decks, Balloon Freeze, just Balloon everything is still really, really powerful in the meta. Royal Hogs, I'm tempted to go S tier, but really, for me, that one Royal Hogs deck is probably the best game in the game, the best deck in the game right now. Royal Hogs, Earthquake, Archer Queen. To me, the Hogs are really, really good. Probably S tier after their small little nerf. But now I think it's more about the Queen, you know, that deck. It's so fast, that cycle deck, that I think the Queen is really, you know, carrying that deck in some degree. But I don't know, they're really good either way. Battle Healer, I'm a Battle Healer hater, guys. F tier. I don't think she's a great card at all, right? Give me a Valkyrie any day. Archers, C tier, not B tier. Archers always get the job done. They're just not used that much. People more opt for like the 4 elixir range cards instead, or air targeting range cards, you know? Elite Barbarians. Barbarians, I think they're D tier. I just never get scared when I see Barbarians. They're using some lava decks as kind of like ground stoppers or a bait card. Maybe you can make the case C tier, but I'm just not a big fan. Bowler, I think that Bowler right now is B tier. Bowler is better than he's been in a long, long time, especially in graveyard decks and balloon decks. Skeleton Barrel, I'll put it B tier. Just a solid bait card, solid addition to bait decks. And we're seeing a lot of just bait decks resurge in the meta right now, and a lot of them do include the Skeleton Barrel. I'm going to put the Hunter in A tier now after his buff. Dude, Hunter's really good now. Have you played Hunter? He's good. Ice Golem, A tier. I love Ice Golem, man. The ultimate kite card, ultimate just buy you more time, distract card. You can use him as a tank on the offensive side in front of like a Hog Rider. I think the Ice Golem is just a very, very good card. Recruits, I'll put C tier. You can get some value out of them. I just don't think they're like dominant in the meta, but they are in some meta decks. Prince, I will put So they give him a little haircut on the HP, and now he can jump over the river. I think the Prince is still solid. I'll put him A tier, maybe A minus, you know. Bomber, I'll put in A tier as well. Now that he's 2 elixir, not 3, ignore this. He's just a really good cycle card, and he can do a number in terms of his defensive capabilities. And he can be annoying to deal with, right? The Inferno Tower now, I'm going to put it B tier, but I'm almost tempted to go A. I think that buff was right on the money, and I think the card is definitely viable now. Gives another option, you know, rather than just the Tesla all the time. Rascals, I'll put B tier. They're really good still. I didn't think they even needed a buff, but they buffed him anyway. So you can even go A, but they're still kind of niche. They're not using a ton of decks. Giant, I'm going to go B tier. He gets the job done, man. Giant Graveyard's so strong. Giant Double Prince. He's not as strong as he's been ever in the game, but he's stronger. You know, he's strong. He's viable, right? Valkyrie. S tier. Valkyrie is so good, man. Valkyrie is just such a good card. I think it's this... It's insane how much damage she deals, the AoE potential of her whirlwind attack, and how much HP she has. You know, she's just so good. I think she's A tier. Heal Spirit, D tier. You know what? Like I just don't like heal in the game. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't think it's that powerful, you know? Heal Spirit, though, is way better, more, I was gonna say useful than the battle healer, right? Because at least you can combo the Heal Spirit with cards like the Royal Hogs, right? So maybe even C, just because it can rely on, you know, I don't know. I'll put it C tier, I guess. Hog Rider. Hog Rider! That was pretty weak, huh? We'll go A tier. Hog Rider is still really good. Newsflash. The Fire Spirit, since they put him to 1 elixir instead of 2, I think is A tier, honestly. I think that it's one of the better 1 elixir cycle cards in the game. Knight, whew. This is going to offend everybody watching right now. Not offend, but I think most people are going to disagree, but take your seat next to Valkyrie, Knight. I just think that Knight, it's weird because, again, I'm a Splash Yard player now this whole year. And for 3 months, I've kept it up. And even as strong as I said Valkyrie was, I think that Knight is as strong, you know? He doesn't put out the DPS that Valkyrie does, but for 3 elixir, 1 elixir savings, you just get so much versatility out of the card. And I know most people will disagree with me, probably put A or B tier on the Knight. I just, as someone who plays the Knight, maybe you need to play him to know him, you know? I don't know what it is, but anybody agree with me on Knight, or am I just crazy? E-Drag, I'll put C tier. I think most people probably put him B tier, but I think he's been better. Mega Minion B tier, like maybe even A, just a solid card, always solid. Dark Prince A tier, I think that Prince and Dark Prince are very, very good still. Inferno Dragon also A tier. Inferno Dragon's really, really good right now, guys. Balloon decks, Mega, I mean, it can fit in every deck. That's the beauty of the Inferno Dragon, right? And always kind of annoying to deal with. We have I'll put the Spirit Goblins in A tier, just a really good cycle air targeting card. Battle Ram, B tier right now. I think the Ram Rider is a little bit better in my opinion, but it depends on, I guess, your skill level and how much you like offensive versatility versus defense versatility. Mega Knight, again, let's just keep going crazy here, guys. Mega Knight is such a dynamic card, and inevitably, whenever I call Mega Knight like A tier, S tier, this is the first time I ever put him S tier, but I never feel good about going against Mega Knight. And whenever I mention Mega Knight, some people in the comments are always like, but Ash, you can counter Mega Knight with simply a P.E.K.K.A. or simply a mini P.E.K.K.A. and an Ice Spirit, whatever, you know? And it's like, yeah, I get you can counter any of these cards. I'm just talking about in a vacuum. How strong is the card? Mega Knight, you can't say that he's only used in mid-ladder anymore because he's in like the number 1 or number 2, it kind of jockeys day by day deck in the game, used by pros, used by top ladder players, that Archer Queen, Ram Rider Mega Knight deck, you know? So now that he's used everywhere, I just think that Mega Knight is a very good card, personally. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I just think he's a very good card. Maybe A tier though, maybe not S, right? Because you can deal with him. He's just annoying, right? So maybe I'm putting a little bit too much factor into the annoyingness of the card. Wizard is B tier to me because Wizard, I forgot what pro player it was. I had somebody on. Who was it? It was a pro, and they're like, yo, Wizard is like, pros don't give Wizard a try because they think in their head he's just a crappy mid-ladder card. But when they do give him a try, he thinks, at least in his opinion, he said that, you know, Wizard is actually pretty dang good, right? He can destroy Swarm like none other. So I'll put him B tier because he's very good mid-ladder, and I think he does have some potential a little bit higher. Baby D, S tier, man. Baby D is so good, man. So good. Musketeer, I'm tempted to go S tier on Musketeer too. I'm going to. She did not need a buff, man. She did not need a buff, but I'm not complaining about it. But she was already really good, and I think that Muskie is just a very, very, very good card now. Zap A tier. It's Zap. It's A tier. Rocket A tier. Rocket's super meta right now, guys. Like really vaulted back into the meta with Hog, Xe, NATO, and Bait being back in the meta. Even Icebow, right? So the three kind of quintessential Rocket decks are all very good right now in the game. Freeze A tier. Freeze, I hate to say it, but Graveyard Freeze and Balloon Freeze have really never been as prominent as they are right now, for better or for worse, right? Elite Barbarians B tier. They're just really solid right now, right? Good tank killers, good bridge pressure. They're in Golem decks now, and they're also in bridge spam decks. Ice Wizard B tier. B tier. The Enter the Arena ability, I was kind of down on it, you know. I apologize to the developers, I guess, because I get some utility. I play Ice Wizard in my main deck, you know, and it gives you some versatility and utility in the card that it didn't have before. You can't complain, right? Bandit, A tier. Bandit is a very, very good card. One of the better legendary cards in the game. Minion Horde, F tier. I hate Minion Horde, man. Kill it with arrows. Kill it with, you know, I don't know. Fire Spirits going on everywhere in the game. I just feel like they're a weak card. They are in some decks like double minion, Lava Hound, and stuff like that, but I'm just not a fan. 5 elixir is too pricey for a card that can be countered by half the cards in the game for me. Goblin Cage, I'm going to say B tier. There's only one reason it's B tier, and that's because I feel like the Tombstone really replaced it in a lot of decks, you know, but still a very, very good card. Executioner, I'll say B tier. Xe, that buff of the Xe, I think brought it from C to B. It's now a very viable range card. Barpa, F tier, man. It's a trash card. It's too expensive. 7 elixir. I don't like it. Goblin Barrel, A tier. Goblin Barrel Bait is doing very, very well right now in the meta. Next up, Lava Hound, A tier. One of the better win conditions in the game still, you know. Royal Ghost, A tier. Very, very good card. trying to lightning round, moving along a little bit here. Magic Archer, man, I'm tempted to go S tier. I think Magic Archer, I'm going to. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Usually I only have like 5 S tier cards, but like I said, I'm in a very generous mood right now. Man, Magic Archer. I don't know. Maybe I'm bad at defending Magic Archer. Maybe people are better at getting that connection value of Magic Archer. I'm just going to admit it to you guys. Every time I go against Magic Archer, inevitably, even if you have one lapse in concentration, you forget they have Magic Archer. It's like a free fireball plus damage on your tower. Like, oh crap, they have Magic Archer, you know? So maybe it's just speaking of how bad of a player I am, but at least guilty as charged, right? S tier card, I really think Magic Archer is super strong. Graveyard, I would go S tier, I think, but again, I don't want to put too much personal biases on this list. A tier, one of the best win conditions in the game right now. Fireball, A tier, one of the best big spells in the game right now, right? Along with Poison. Princess, A tier. Princess is really good. You know, she's always been really good. Tesla, A tier. Tesla, still really good. Still super annoying to deal with, in my opinion at least. Are you guys in the same boat? I go against Tesla, I'm like, crap. Tesla. A Tesla match, damn it. All right. Night Witch, B tier. She's not bad, but restricted to more Golem decks. And yeah, I think B tier is a safe grade for Night Witch. As much as the Barb Hut, I say F tier, I would put the Goblin Hut in C tier because Goblin Hut's a lot better than the Barbarian Hut for 2 elixir cheaper. And it's just, again, annoying to deal with, as are all spawners. But really, I think there's no surprise that we go 7 elixir on the Barb Hut, 5 elixir in the C tier on the Goblin Hut, and then we have 4 elixir cost on the Furnace and the Goblin Cage, and then we have 3 elixir cost on the S tier. The elixir cost, as it goes down, the overall strength of the card goes up. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason these cards are good, but definitely the cost of a spawner is a massive factor in how good they are, right? Earthquake, I'll say A tier. It just does so much damage, right? So much damage. Skarmy, I'm going to say A tier because of the combo power with the Skeleton King, right? Skeleton King really vaulted the Skarmy out of being relegated to just mid-ladder, you know, or low ladder. Royal Giant, this is an interesting one. I think a lot of people would go A tier. Maybe even a couple would go S tier. But I'm going to go B, right? I mean, this is a hard one to rank. Royal Giant's really good because the one deck that he's used in, the Fisherman, Mother Witch, actually there's kind of two now, the Skeleton King as well. I'll go A. He's a good win condition. I don't play him, but it doesn't matter. He's a really good win condition. Now listen, guys, if I'm going to put Musketeer and Magic Archer in S tier, I have to also put the E-Wiz, because E-Wiz, they're all different. And I feel like the dynamics between these three cards right now give them all their fair shake in the meta in terms of overall utility. So I'm a big fan of E-Wiz. I think he's an incredible card overall. Enter the arena ability, everything else he brings to the table, just a very good card overall. So for different reasons, E-Wiz, Magic Archer, and Muskie are all S tier in my opinion. Which I'm going to shock the world and go B tier, man. Which is another card like the, where are you, Wizard? Where are you, Wizzy? Oh, right next to her, dude. Come on, Ash. You that blind, bro? Both these cards kind of get a bad rap of being noob cards. But Witch is actually kind of sneaky good. And some people underestimate these cards too. When you go against a Witch or a Wizard, I feel like even I sometimes have the propensity of saying, oh, playing against a noob, easy victory. And then they crush me with a Witch and a Wizard. I'm like, oh crap, I suck at life. Miner, A tier. Miner's always A tier, man. Just a tried and true card, right? Wall Breakers, I'm going to say A tier. There are 2 Elixir win condition. Enough said. P.E.K.K.A, A tier. P.E.K.K.A's really, bridge spam, P.E.K.K.A is still as strong as it's ever been in the game. It's again, always kind of jockeying for number 1, 2, or 3 in terms of overall win rates in the game, P.E.K.K.A bridge spam. And it's the ultimate tank killer. It's the ultimate like high DPS, big tanky unit. Elixir Golem, D tier. Just not my jam, man. Giving my opponent Elixir every time I play a card is just not my jam, even though it can do a lot of damage. But it's also, I feel like a lot of good players, or a lot of players who understand how to beat Elixir Golem decks, given the deck they're playing. So a lot of experience with the deck. I think they don't have a lot of difficulty with Elixir Golem decks right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Dark Goblin, A tier, man. The Machine Gun Dark Goblin, I hate going against him, man. He's just so good. I feel like he's such a good card. Almost underrated card, right? Expo, I'm going to go A tier. Now, listen, SK, I know you're watching this video. I know you're going to be like, Ash, it's F. Supercell's killing Expo players. I know you're saying that, bro. I love you. But I personally think as a non-Expo player, the Expo's still very, very in the hands of a decent player, man, decent Expo player. Expo can be very challenging because of the defensive. It's not the offensive of the card, it's the defensive of the card. When an Expo Tesla player kind of bolsters down or hunkers down and just starts going all out defense, there's nothing more frustrating or difficult to deal with a lot of different decks out there than Expo. So, and now with Icepo kind of back too, I think the Expo is A tier, but maybe some of you guys will disagree. Rage Spells, B tier, man. Again, on the list of most annoying cards in the game, sure, it's like S tier. But, for a long time, I was always putting Rage in F and D, F and D, F and D. But now I feel like Rage is B tier, right? It's just, I said it before, but it does a great job, to my annoyance, of making the most annoying and OP cards in the game even more annoying and even more OP, Next up, we have 3 Muskies, C tier. They're a lot better than they used to be, but still not enough to really justify me calling them meta just yet. Firecracker, A tier, so annoying to deal with. Man, she's a good card, huh? Like, they did a really good job of making 3 long-range troops, Firecracker, Princess, Dark Goblin, but all bringing something totally different to the table, Cannon, I'll put it in C tier. It's not bad, it's in the Royal Hogs and Hog 2.6 decks. I'm going to put Electro Giant in B tier now. For a long time, it was A or S tier, but I do feel like people are, they know how to counter him with their deck to the best of their ability, right? But if you have a building, it's generally a fairly easy matchup now. Still one of the most annoying cards to go against, but I feel like people kind of know how to beat Electro Giant a little bit more. A tier, Electro Spirit, very good card. Mother Witch, I'll say B tier. She's only really, after they nerfed her like 8 times, she's only really used now in the Royal Giant deck, in terms of super meta decks at least. She's still not trash though. I think B tier is a safe grade for her. Goblin Drill, I'm going to go B tier again. I think that people don't recognize it got nerfed so hard compared to how strong it was, how OP it was, one of the strongest cards on release ever. But now it's still actually pretty good, just give it a try. I don't know why there's 2 drills in this tier list, but hey, We'll put them both there. Why not, right? And now we have the champions, right? Who? I think the skeleton, I think they're all, no. I think the queen is like S tier, right? Skeleton King is S tier. And I think that the Golden Knight, I think he's kind of like A minus B plus now. That nerf kind of hit him hard, man. It really did. You guys out there, this is going to be the end of the video, so I just want to end it with a question. You guys who play or who played the old Golden Knight compared to how he is right now, you let me know in the comments. Because I feel like when I play tested him, I feel like he's a lot weaker. But I'm not as experienced, like I don't play him every day, you know? So I want to hear from you guys, but I feel like he took a pretty big hit. So he went from S tier to probably A minus in my head. That's going to conclude the list, guys. Let me know what you think of all these cards. What did I screw up on the most? What was I most wrong on? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Thank you for watching. A big shout out to Bren Chong, Clash Royale, my YouTube partners. Check out their information in the description below. Thank you, and as always, take care, guys.